if you want to get into trees this year, specifically ones that bear fruit, I think this episode will be for you. It's something I've been obsessed with since I can remember, but only now do I have the space to actually do it. And I'm starting to see the gears turn in your head as well. Not that you don't have an orchard. You do. You've got some cool stuff. Actually, you have great blueberries.
Yeah.
And your passion fruit, your first two.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you've got your chicken orchard with, how many plants are in that?
I think, 5 trees.
Yeah.
2 figs, a mulberry, a lemon, and a loquat.
How many of those have produced so far?
The figs have produced, and that's about it.
So you're getting into orchards.
Yeah.
Mostly because we just tried the citrus that we planted 2 years ago, basically. And it's finally really coming in.
I'll say master stroke. First thing you did when you moved in was I'm putting in trees. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that's what you should do first if you start a garden. If you want trees, because they take time.
It takes so much time. Yeah.
Now you're swimming in citrus. Yeah. After only 2 years, and they're covered. So I didn't realize, first of all, that they could be so prolific when they're kept so small in a backyard orchard, and you're getting 100+ limes on one tree. Mm-hmm. So that convinced me. And the other thing is the variety of flavors. Those limes are just better than any I've ever had. And
they're great.
They're delicious.
Yeah, they're really
fragrant,
good.
The skin is good. And you know that you could use it however you want because you grew it in a certain way, right? It's organic, it's in your yard. Mm-hmm. So I definitely want to add more trees. And I think part of why some of mine haven't produced well is because I've been underwatering them and they're next to 2 very old trees.
Yeah.
Because of that area that they're in.
Right.
I'm thinking of doing maybe setting up some oyas on automatic water release.
It can work. You need some big ones though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe just to keep them alive in case I forget. But I want to add a more variety of citrus, and I want to add a couple stone fruits. This idea of chill hours to me is very interesting because I think we've heard a little bit about chill hours and how maybe they don't matter as much as we thought they did.
Well, I think
it depends.
It really depends.
Really depends.
But I was chatting with Charles of IV Organics, and then he knows Tom Spellman of Dave Wilson Nursery, legendary. He's the one who really has promoted backyard orchard culture and put home orcharding in a more realistic sensibility for someone to actually do it. And so I learned a lot just from a couple videos, watching Tom and reading his site, voraciously. But the thing that it seems to be the case is the chill hour requirements is not absolutely hard and fast. That being said, you still can't totally disrespect them.
Yeah. I think it's if you're running a commercial orchard, then you want to respect those chill hours because every chill hour is money on the table, right?
Pretty much.
But here it's maybe you get less, but you still can grow it.
You still get them.
But you need the space. So trees take up space. Yeah. So I think orchards are fun because they give you a lot of chances to observe the plant throughout the year. You get to do different pruning cycles. You get to control how to grow it, which seems like fun. I'd love to try doing an espalier setup, something like that. But I just want more variety. I want things that come in bumper crops so I could process some jam or something like that. I've never had that opportunity.
Yeah, I'm finally at the stage where loquats have been a staple here.
That's true.
That's what was here when I moved in. But I think I'm finally at the stage where with citrus, I could be doing marmalades. Yeah. Because there's enough. I could be doing lemon peel candies, that kind of stuff.
Because you have more than you even need to just use as lemon juice.
Yeah. I mean, the satsumas, which are so good, I'm eating them pretty often, and there's still plenty more to pick.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's the kind of thing where I'd love to have that kind of setup where I just have so many things that it forces you to be creative too. Yeah. It's what can I do with this? Plus, I have 30 lemons.
You're never gonna be looked down upon for going over to a friend's for dinner and bringing some fresh oranges. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I've never seen anyone get mad at that.
No one's mad.
They're always really excited.
Always stoked. And so if I'm you, the way I would approach it is I'd be maxing citrus first because it grows so well here. Yeah. And it's the guaranteed winner. And I'd be maxing that in places actually in my mind's eye, I know that if you're listening or watching the show, you won't really have a good picture of Jacques' house in your head. But you do have this front walk up that you don't show too much on the channel. And there's these 2 areas. You've done garlic and artichoke on the left side of the driveway, so to speak. And then on the right side, I think you solarized it, but you didn't really do much.
Kind of left
that area could be very interesting to put a little mini citrus orchard.
Because it probably has plenty of sun.
You'll get sun after about 9-10 a.m. Yeah. And so that could be really good.
Maybe one peach after I saw your peach.
I think you got to get a peach.
That thing's crazy.
You got to get Ava's Pride. Yeah. Yeah, Ava's Pride.
Definitely getting one of those.
Because that one was, that's a monster.
Because the bare root season is basically here.
It's almost here.
Next month, they'll probably start showing up.
Yeah, in the next 30 to 60 days, you've got bare root season. Yeah. And if you're unfamiliar with that, that means trees that are shipped, as the name implies, bare root. They're
no
dormant.
Soil.
There's nothing on them. They're sort of covered in like a peat moss at the bottom.
It's like a stick with a couple roots.
Mm-hmm. And the benefit of that is you get varieties you most often would not be able to find in high amounts at a nursery, especially not like an aged 2 to 3 year variety. But they're also quite a bit less expensive than a grown-in variety. So I've done both. I've done bare root and live. I personally prefer live because we have good access to them, and I'm buying time.
Yeah.
Remember way back when we were doing the orchard, like just putting the lemons in? That was my big thing, is I was like, I want to buy a year, and now I'm getting the fruit 2 years in instead of 4 years in.
That's a good point, actually. Katrina, my partner, is like, could we just buy like a $150 lemon tree?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I want to spend that much.
Yeah.
But you get, like at that point, you get like 3 years of time.
Yeah.
Like where you're just waiting for lemons.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts to seem pretty compelling at some point.
Well, the thing that I've
never... Because you can't buy time in many ways.
And that's one of the few ways. That's the thing I've never really understood about the gardening world and the gardening industry is I think we're just frugal people by nature in general as a gardener, which is totally fine. It's a decent virtue. However, we might not be as frugal in other areas of our life. Like we might go out and have a nice meal and this and that. And it's like, well, you could spend the same amount and literally have oranges for years more than you would otherwise in your life.
That's true.
An extra 2 years at age 35.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a big percentage of life.
It's a big chunk.
You know what I mean? It's a big chunk.
But the beauty too is in gardening is you could also take your time and do it as cheap as possible.
Yeah,
and spend almost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You could get a cutting, start it up, grow it for like 6-7 years, and then harvest.
That would be the most extreme.
Yeah. But you can.
You can.
Or you could just buy the tree and put it in the ground.
Or you could buy the tree. I would say if you are messing around with figs, you could just graft that.
Oh, that's totally worth just buying a cutting. Yeah.
But so another thing, if you're listening, you're like, well, yo, guys, I'm in an apartment, I'm in a balcony. This is something I've seen people do many times. If you are planning to like move to own, rent a larger space, what I did actually, and what other people will do, is they will start their fruit trees in containers. Oh. And so they'll start a bare root tree or a potted tree, and then as it needs, they'll pot it up. And then they'll literally just move all those to their final location and plant them in ground.
You just bought yourself time.
You just bought yourself more time. And so think of your smaller space right now as like a clearing ground for the future. I know a guy. He did this with 50 trees.
Wow.
And he just moved them all and put them all in the ground. And he basically had an orchard immediately.
That's so cool.
That's extreme.
That's foresight.
But yeah, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, my bear's lime in a container is actually, I forgot about it, is my most productive tree. Mm-hmm. And it's only like a 10-gallon pot.
Citrus never needs to leave a container, in theory. Yeah. It really doesn't.
So try it out. Yeah. Like it might surprise you.
I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised. And also, I would say this, if you're not in bare root season, you don't want to shop for that right now, hold on to your horses because we have a crazy thing coming in spring directly from Epic. And I won't say more, but
I don't even know.
You might want to hold your horses on grabbing some fruit trees. That's all I'll say.
Watch the full episode right here and subscribe for more new episodes every single week.